tuning in into Anthony Around Town. I just wanted to give you all a wonderful welcome. So I wanted to introduce to everybody a new thing that we're doing at Anthony Around Town. We're going to be setting up a Patreon. And for some of you that don't know what a Patreon is, it's a wonderful way for the viewers and the subscribees of Anthony Around Town to be able to show your support, show your love, and to be able to kind of help push the Anthony Around Town mission forward. So the way that this looks is through tiers. That's kind of how Patreon works. So for instance, if you donate $1 a month, this is going to be a great way for you as the viewers and subscribees of Anthony Around Town to show your love and to show your support to kind of help us keep moving forward. If you want to go a little bit further, we have a tier 2 that's $3 a month. And what's really cool about that is we're gonna start to kind of produce a little bit extra content, so something like an after hours show.
Anthony, does salt make water boil faster? So I'm perplexed. I am beside myself.
I get it.
I am not going to be able to sleep at night.
So that way you guys, we can show you a little bit more in depth on our opinions and some of the things that we talk about and go a little bit deeper in topics. So if that's what you're looking for, it's tier 2 would be pretty good. If you want to go even further, we have a tier 3. What we kind of want to do, you get that extra content, and then you also get raffle tickets. And this is one of the ways that we here at Anthony Around Town get to, show our love to you guys. And so in the description that we'll have it with our Patreon and everything, we'll give out the layout of all the different things that you get to kind of get raffled into and some of the cool things that you can get out of it. And then last but not least, we have a tier 4. It's $10 a month. And what's really cool with that is you get the extra content, you get the raffle tickets, and then we definitely want to just give thanks to you guys. And so me and Anthony, we would definitely want to give a shout out to you guys, give even more love to you guys for loving us and supporting us here at Anthony Around Town. So definitely stay tuned and remember to check in with us and see how all that Patreon stuff is going on. We'll have a link down in the bottom of the video. So that way it'll be kind of easy to get to. And once again, thank you in advance for helping support us and helping us kind of push the mission forward. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and or night.
Hey everybody, what is going on? Welcome to a brand new rendition of the Anthony Around Town show, the best darn talk show in Elko, Nevada. I'm your host, Anthony Crosby, joined by my amazing co-host, Matthew, cameraman Rom. In just a minute, we will talk to Matthew. We'll hear how his week has been. We'll dive into a couple different topics we have because this show is all about just engaging with one another. A lot of stuff happens in our community, and not just because of all the craziness now, but on the normal, there's a lot of stuff happening in our community through the people, the events, gatherings, stuff like that. And so we here, Anthony Around Town, just want to help do what we can by talking about it, pointing it out, and engaging the Elko culture that way. So we're going to dive into all of that tonight for tonight's specific episode in 1 second. But before we do that, I just want to let you know that Anthony Around Town is actually brought to you this evening by a couple awesome businesses locally in our community. And now more than ever, it's essential that we just highlight a lot of these local small businesses because we're all just kind of doing our part to make sure that they stay supported, that they stay at the forefront of our minds, and that they just know that their community loves them. So we're going to bring up a couple of them specifically who have Anthony Around Town's back right now. And the first business I'm going to bring up is our good friends at NV Off-Road. NV Off-Road is actually where this where this live stream is coming to you from right now. So if I be quiet, maybe you can hear. Can you hear the rumbling of a snowmobile? I don't know if you could hear it, but super awesome team of people here Justin, the owner, right before we went live, he came, he checked on me, and he's like, Anthony, are you recording yet? I'm like, no, I'm just getting ready. And he's like, okay. Literally, as I was on my way home, I got a call from a guy, said, hey, my snowmobile's stuck. Can you help me out? I'll pay you to come give me some assistance. Justin's like, no problem. So here it is. What is it? 8:06 at night, and Justin's here at his shop helping somebody out. So got to give them some love. Justin and the boys here definitely know what they're doing, definitely know how to take care of people. Even though a lot of the businesses have had to close their doors through the next month or so, Justin is still able, obviously, to provide some assistance. You can either give him a call to have your vehicle dropped off here, schedule that time with him, or he could schedule a time for him to meet you to pick it up. The number to do that is 775-299-5546. And in case you're wondering, the location itself is 1430 Stitzel Road, Suite A. So if you have a power sports vehicle, just keep in mind, again, 8 o'clock at night, he's busting his butt here, Justin and our friends at NV Off-Road. Next, we want to bring up the amazing team over at Remax Gold, the Jesse James team in specific. Usually what I try to do, sometimes I forget, I'm going to be honest, but what I try to do is get a hold of all of our sponsors the week prior to doing these streams and our vlogs and our videos, and I just say, hey, is there anything specific you want us to communicate to our viewers, our readers, our listeners, and so on and so forth. And Jessie, when I asked her this morning, she just wanted to let you all know that she and the gals over at Remax Gold, they're just really praying for their community right now. I think that's probably the most important thing that a lot of us can do is just prayer and just have those positive thoughts and just support one another. So above anything else, Jessie wanted me to let you guys know that she's praying for you all. But if you still want to get a hold of her, she told me she's still doing work out of her office. She's still trying to help people, even though there's those restrictions now. So you can get a hold of her at 775-777-5220. That's 775-777-5220. Or, I haven't brought this up, you can get a hold of Jessie's property page at rmgelcorentals.com. That's Remax Gold. Remax Gold. So rmgelcorentals.com if you want to check out all the cool locations and property that Jessie's working with. So want to give them a lot of love. We super are thankful for all of our sponsors and everybody who makes Anthony Around Town possible. If you guys want to join in the conversation tonight with Matthew and I, this is part of the big reason why we do this live, is so that you can participate and we can hear your voice and get your questions and comments. And so my trusty laptop's right over here, so just feel free to join in at any time. Matthew, we'll talk about how we're doing in a second, but we should probably do something very important right now, and that is honor a member of our community who unfortunately, very sadly, very heartbreakingly lost his life over the weekend. And we're talking about Sgt Ben Jenkins of the Highway Patrol. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know the story, but if not, just in case, maybe you're not from Elko and you're watching this. Fortunately, Sgt Ben was shot this weekend, performing his job, going about his duties, and passed away from said gunshot. And I didn't want to get on here and act like I knew Ben or anything, Sergeant Ben, I should say, because I didn't have the honor of meeting him in person. I didn't have the privilege of talking with him. I just knew his name from when all this information started coming out. And Matthew, you said before we started that you hadn't had any interaction with him, so we didn't want to get on and be fake and be like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, because we didn't know him, we didn't have that relationship with him. But it's been really inspiring, because just seeing a lot of the social media conversation about Sergeant Ben, a lot of people just had some good things to say about us. A lot of people who knew him, who maybe have worked with him, have interacted with him. I just saw nothing but kind words. And so this is definitely a heartbreaking subject that has just occurred in our community, on top of everything else going on that we'll talk about in a minute. But when we unfortunately lose one of our own, that's that's a tough thing. And so Matthew, since neither of us personally knew him, we just found a newspaper segment about him that kind of shared a little bit about who Sergeant Ben Jenkins was. And so Matthew was just going to read that, and we'll continue discussing.
Yeah. So I got it right here. It starts off. The Nevada Highway Patrol said Sergeant Jenkins was an Elko native who devoted his life to public service and to serving the Nevadans. He began working for Nevada Highway Patrol in March 2008 as a trooper in Jackpot and was promoted to sergeant in Elko in 2017. Prior to the NHP, he was a training officer for the Nevada State Fire Marshal Division, a crew supervisor for the Nevada Division of Forestry, and an assistant fire chief for the Spring Creek Volunteer Fire Department, and a veteran of both the Army National Guard and Air National Guard. In 2011, Jenkins received the Nevada Department of Public Safety's highest honor, the Gold Medal of Valor, which is presented to officers who perform an extraordinary act of heroism.
Wow.
So I think those are definitely, admirable things to go after.
100%.
That is a lot of putting in work towards helping out the community in many different ways through it said the Army National Guard and the Air National Guard. So just going through that, putting, being one of the first people on the lines to kind of fight for America and fight for their values and stuff. And then just kind of even taking it more to communal level, like to the community by just serving as a highway patrolman and stuff like that. And
it's a volunteer firefighter, I believe.
Yep, volunteer firefighter. Those are all just definitely really kind of amazing, like I said, admirable career routes, to go after. And so it's definitely, and it, not just for him, but it is always just sad to lose.
Yeah. Just one of our neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good way of putting it, to lose one of our neighbors, whether or not we have gotten the chance to know him, gotten the chance to, the honor of meeting them and getting to know their story, right? That's what we're all about here is stories.
Yep.
So whether or not we got that chance to learn about that, it is always kind of a sad, a disheartening thing when that happens.
Definitely.
And so definitely want to give respect.
Definitely want to do that. So right now, Matthew, I think it'd just be a good idea just just have a moment of silence for Sergeant Ben Jenkins. So we're going to do that here in the studio now. If you're watching this, probably most likely at home or something, feel free to join us right now. All right. And again, that was a moment of silence for Sergeant Ben Jenkins of the Nevada Highway Patrol. So thank you for all the other brave men and women who are out there putting their life on the line, even though they may not know it when they go to work that day, putting their life on the line to keep our community safe. So, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for all that you do. So two goofballs can sit in a studio on a Monday night and not have to worry. You're out there, risking your life on occasions and again, just working to keep us safe. So we really do appreciate that. All right. No real smooth way to transition out of that, but normally what we do here on the Anthony Around Town show is we look back to past content that we published on our main site throughout the previous week, and we talk about it here on the show. We kind of, see if any interesting conversation comes from it, kind of dive deep into all that. And last week we put out two blogs. We put out one on Wednesday, one on Friday. One on Wednesday was specifically just talking to members of our community from different points of view about their perspective on COVID-19 and everything going on with that right now. So we talked to a person who was previously, she's no longer there now, but worked at one of the local grocery stores. We talked to a mom who's now homeschooling her kids because the school shut down. We talked to a business owner, and we talked to somebody who's still going to work every single day because their work is considered essential. So we got to hear their perspectives, what it's like going to work, what it's like dealing with their kids, what it's like owning a business, and all the changes and things they have to endure right now. And then we also, what we did is I just had them end, though, which was just by sharing something positive, because even though this is really scary and confusing and kind of bleak for a lot of us, I still believe with all my heart there can be aspects of positivity that can be seen throughout a lot of this. So that was Wednesday's blog. Haven't checked it out. I know a lot of you have. A lot of you read that blog, and thank you. I appreciate that. But just in case you haven't, just AnthonyAroundTown.com. It's going to be on the homepage there. And then Friday, I had a chance to sit down actually with a friend of mine, someone who's really, really cool. Her name is Jade Herzog, and she is the owner of Bay Capelli Salon, kind of mid-town as you're headed east, kind of over there by Fizz and all those little shops over there, Quiznos. And so I was just able to talk to her and kind of get her perspective, because Wednesday, like I said, we talked to somebody who was just a parent, homeschooled with kids. We talked to somebody who was at work, talked to somebody at the grocery store, talked to a business owner. But I purposely didn't interview somebody who had to shut their business down because of the ordinance from the governor and our state leadership and all that, because that's Jade's story right now. So Jade, having a salon, she has to shut her doors and not be able to work and have customers in because her business is considered just non-essential. So it's different because like restaurants and stuff, they're still doing takeout and all that. But talking with Jade, she's like, nope. Our doors are locked. We obviously can't practice in our homes. That's illegal. We'll get in trouble for that. We can't have people in here because right now we'll get in trouble for that. So she's like, essentially, we're not making any money, not engaging with any customers right now because we just had to. So her perspective is just very interesting. But again, just positivity. Just came from my conversation with her. So again, a lot of you read her. A lot of you guys read her blogs last week. I really do appreciate it. But in case you hadn't had a chance to hear Jade's voice and her heart for what's going on, and not just what's going on, she shares her story. She shares details about her business and the usual stuff. So just go check that out on our main site. But obviously the theme for last week, our content for last week was how the community and different members of our community are kind of dealing with the current coronavirus impact that we're all feeling. But for us, Matthew, a lot of what we do is obviously through our work, my work specifically, Anthony Around Town. It's media. Media is considered an essential business, so I'm still able to do what I do. And a lot of my work is internet-based, so I can do it from home anyways. So that's my perspective. But a lot of my stuff is the social distancing stuff, the being quarantined in my house outside of doing this with one other person type stuff. Matthew, you still are working at T-Mobile, so you still have that whole thing, but I imagine you're still feeling the effects of it and social distancing and all that. So before I kind of share what I've been up to, what have you been up to specifically throughout that? Again, it feels like months, but it's only been a couple of weeks. Yeah. So what's the last couple of weeks look like for you?
Honestly, I definitely haven't noticed it as much as some other people. My day, what I have noticed is just driving around town, going to and from work. It's like a ghost town now. Yeah. Like the Rayleigh's parking lot used to, I got so used to seeing it always full. Now it's like one or two lines might be full worth, and so that's pretty wild. Just kind of seeing the effect that it has on like just other people going in and out. We saw the major effects that it had with just people buying stock loads of the stuff and just seeing the shelves just emptied out. And then what was really cool is seeing like the different companies, Smith's, Walmart and stuff, opening like an hour early for elders to shop. Yep, so stuff cool. Like that was really kind of a, faith in humanity restored kind of thing. So I thought those were like really cool. I mean, honestly, like I said, I just I go to work. I deal with whatever the day has to kind of throw at me, whether it's shift in hours, whether we're getting less, whether we're getting more because something happened. And then just, going home, doing what I can to pass the time and going back to work. So,
nice. Yeah, for me, last week was interesting for me because, again, it's only been not that long. But last week was my first full week with no kids and being quarantined because their mom and I, we do like a week on, week off schedule, and it's all good. But normally, she works at a optometrist here in town. So what happens is, because a lot of my stuff is, I can do on my computer and edit stuff in there. It's not the, I still have the kids a lot during the day. So even when it's technically like her week, I still hang out with them. I see them almost every day. But because her office has also been one of the businesses that has had to close its doors for a little bit, she's at home, so they're hanging out with her. So it's the first week where I'm like, oh shoot, like I literally have 7 straight days of really not a whole lot because you super involved with like Chamber of Commerce stuff, not happening. Super involved with just running the kids around to different activities. Those activities are canceled. There's always social events that I'm going to disappeared. So now I'm just like, okay, like I have this time. And obviously I'm still doing my normal work and moving forward with that. But I just really got to a point where I just realized I wanted to make a conscious choice to use a lot of that time productively and not just waste it. Because one of my biggest things is like when we prayerfully, hopefully, eventually get through a lot of this and we turn to like normal and our routines and stuff like that. What I don't want to do, and maybe we talked about this before, but like I don't want to look back at this time and be like, dang, like I really wasted a lot of that extra time that I had just at my house sitting down, on my phone or just binge watching shows and all that stuff and or stressing. I just feel like I don't want to be. So what I decided is that I'm going to fill this time with all those things that we always say that we're going to do and all those projects and all those things on our list that will come one day. I said, no, today's the day. So I'm going to get to some of these things. And so did a couple of those things. I tried some new recipes. One night when I had my kids, I tried a new recipe. It was an enchilada recipe. And because, I'm not the greatest chef in the world, but I tried, I took the time to, see how it's done. But again, it's enchilada recipes, and I grabbed the hot and spicy can of enchilada sauce instead of the mild. So they weren't able to eat it, but I'm like, I tried, and it looks good. It looked like, Gordon Ramsay approved enchiladas. So.
But they couldn't eat it.
They couldn't eat it. Nope. It's dad life. So there's that. But different projects that I just want to do. I just tried it. And over the weekend, so one of my biggest loves in life, besides Matthew, besides my kids, besides this town, is popcorn. I love myself some popcorn. It is like my jam. And I've always wanted to come up with my own flavor of popcorn. Did you see this? Or are you just
I haven't.
That's right. You're off Facebook after Easter.
Yeah.
I'll have to show you a picture afterwards. But I took a week of studying and research and planning and prepping. And then Saturday, I took, I actually took all afternoon because I messed up like a lot of times. But I came up with my own flavor of popcorn I wanted to do. And I did a bunch of trial and error until I could figure it out, and I did, and it was delicious. Some of you might have seen, but I was able to make wine and cheese flavored popcorn. Wine and cheese flavored popcorn. So I think what I want to do is do like a adult popcorn line and have like wine and cheese and some other flavors I don't want to give away on the internet. But it was just cool. It felt really good. Like, because again, that's always been on my list. But honestly, like if things were normal, be all over the place. I want to have time to devote 4 or 5 hours to making popcorn, but I did this week and it was awesome. So just stuff like that I'm just trying to be intentional with. They have like another video project that's like outside of Anthony around town that I'm working on. I probably won't talk about it too much here on this stuff because it's not Anthony around town related, but something I've always wanted to do and people said I should do and put out there, and I think I'm going to do it. So just stuff like that. So it's just it's just been different. It's been a lot. It's been different. I know for a lot of us, it's hitting us in different ways.
Yep.
But I think one thing I'll just ask you, we'll end this conversation and move on. I'll ask you the same question I asked the people in the blogs. What is something positive that you think you're going to take away from this about this circumstance, about the community? What's something positive you're going to walk away with?
I have not thought about that a whole lot. So I definitely think now hearing that question, I'm going to have to really take it into
Think
account.
about it. Okay, here's the challenge. So next Monday on the show, I'm going to ask you, after a week of thinking, what's something positive you think you're going to walk away from, and we're going to hear your answer. Because I don't want you to kind of have to BS it here on the spot if you haven't thought about it, which is fine. But yeah, really think about it and dig deep and kind of observe and see what you think.
It's gonna have to be for a week's worth of thinking.
It's gonna be juicy. I can't wait to. It's
juicy.
probably gonna make me cry. I can't wait. So there's that. So we're gonna continue the conversation about being quarantined and what that looks like now and all that stuff in a second. But we're gonna do it in a more fun and interesting way because I have a question for Matthew. And we'll get to it in a sec. But before we do that, as you guys have probably seen, Elaine Castle, she commented a couple of hearts and a police car. That's obviously in honor of Sgt Jenkins. So I'm just going to leave that up the rest of the show in honor of him because I think that's great. But now what we're going to do now is we are going to take a moment to just say thank you to another one of our awesome sponsors. And that is... That is Elise O'Brien over at Heartwood Wellness. You can see her logo right there. Elise, she's really cool. She's all about therapies and Ayurvedic counseling and basically talking to you about what's going on in life and how to engage your mind, body, and spirit to help you feel better. Really, all I could just recommend right now is just going over to Elise O'Brien's Facebook page, the Heartwood Wellness Ayurvedic Counseling Facebook page, and check out her videos because we know that a lot of her ideas and concepts that she's bringing to her wellness is, you know, stuff that maybe people have never heard of before or don't know a whole lot about. So every week, what I do is I help Elise, because she's just such an awesome sponsor of us, I help her create and produce videos that just kind of break down one topic per week when it comes to Ayurvedic counseling. So actually tomorrow morning, I'm waking up and shooting another video for her that's going to be out on Friday. So what you should just do is just go over, check out her Facebook page, Elise O'Brien, Heartwood Ayurvedic Counseling, or just search Heartwood Wellness or Elise O'Brien, and you'll find it. It's actually, if you're watching this on our Facebook page, just scroll down a little bit, and you'll see some of the videos we shared from her page. And just give that page a like, because we just, again, through this time, want to do what we can to support the businesses in our community who just need that TLC. And so we're just going to do that for our sponsors 100% here at Anthony Around Town. So thank you to Elise and all that you do at Heartwood Wellness. All right, Matthew.
Yes.
I'm just going to come out and straight ask it. Have you watched Tiger King yet?
I've seen an episode or two, not of my own volition.
Why? Did Elizabeth want to watch it or somebody else?
Elizabeth was already watching it. I was playing some games with Scott last night, and so once I got done playing with some games, I went and laid down, and there it is, playing on the TV.
So what did you think? Because I started it, I'm not going to lie. I'm a few episodes in, because it's the number one trending show right now. Everybody's talking about memes galore.
I don't even know.
So, do you know what it's about?
Do
you get the gist of it?
I think I get the gist of it. It does not seem like it would have hit number one.
It hit.
Trending.
Everybody's talking. So if you haven't watched it, it's on Netflix called Tiger King. Basically, I've explained it to somebody. It's like animals mixed with cults, mixed with murder, mixed with
guns, drugs, and mayhem.
Guns, drugs, mayhem. It's like a mob thing to it because there's this one tiger facility owner trainer named Joe Exotic, who you've probably seen memes about, but then there's this arch enemy Carol who wants to take him down, and then there's this guy named Doc who's riding around on an elephant all over the place, and some people think that Carol fed her husband to the tigers, and Joe Exotic has his staff losing their arms to tiger attacks, and Doc over here has 3 or 4 wives at his place. Is he running a cult? What's going on? Then they're talking to this Miami drug lord who's hanging out with monkeys and cats. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's all over the place, but it's just, I referred it to like cotton candy. Cotton candy is not healthy. It'll rot your teeth. It's junk. But sometimes, you just want a bag of cotton candy. In this show, it's trash. It's junk. But
Speaking of cotton candy rotting your teeth, that was literally the first sentence that I walked into with the TV being on. Is like this police officer guy talking about this other character on there, talking about meth and how meth just somehow concentrates into the teeth, and rots their teeth, and they call it meth mouth. So
there's a lot of that on the show.
Yeah,
so what I was just thinking. Because we're all quarantined right now. A lot of us, we're trying to fill the time. We're all watching TV. I was thinking, what for me? Because you said it best. You was like, never would have expected a show like this to make number 1. So I was thinking, what elements go into creating the perfect quarantine binge watch show? What all plays into it? Because when we're just going to create our own number 1 binge watch show right now just by putting together some of these elements. So we'll talk back and forth, and at the end we'll give you our TV show pitch. So Matthew, you had all day to think about this question.
Yes, I did.
We'll just you give one, I'll give one. Number 1, what do you think is the number 1 element that goes into a must-see TV?
I think number 1, I haven't quite nailed down to a list of 1, 2, and 3, and 4.
Okay.
I think one of the most prominent ones though would have to be not a roller coaster of emotions, but I would need some ups and downs. I would need to cry. I would need to.
So you're talking
I would need to
emotional ups and
laugh.
downs.
I would need to feel angry, and I would
Okay.
But at other times, I would have to be calm. I have to experience those emotions.
So you're talking about you don't want a show that's just straight funny all the time, but no heart. But you don't want to just be crying all the time. You want to laugh a little bit, and you want some suspense, and you want your heart to start pounding a little bit, and you want to have to duck
at the
behind.
edge of my seat.
Yeah. Okay.
I need to experience this.
All right. I think mine. What I'll throw into the pot for the recipe is you need something that's memeable. Because that's the fastest way I think a TV show catches on is we just start seeing these memes and you're like, that's hilarious. I want to be in on the joke. How do I be in on the joke? Well, to do it, you got to go watch the show so you can get the references. So I think you got to have, whether it's a character, whether it's a funny situation, whether it's just a funny line in general, whether it's a big blow up, you got to have something that people can meme with their friends all the time. So I'm putting meme ability.
I get that.
All right. Anything else that you think goes into it?
It would have to have an amazing cover / advertising. So commercials and stuff like that would have to be done well. Okay. There's sometimes you watch a commercial and it's like, I'm not really interested in seeing that. I don't get what the point of the movie would be or the TV show. It's just not really feeling it, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, that cover, right? Okay. For instance, like Sonic, I think would bring up a really good. Sonic did really good by doing really bad first and then doing really good.
You got people talking.
Right. So they had this awful commercial, but they ended up changing. They ended up listening to the audience and making the commercials look better, changing up a whole bunch of stuff, doing a 180, and making those commercials look really cool, really good. And that's just how they did it. They gave you the worst, and then they gave you the best. Okay. So it would have to be really enticing advertising wise.
My next thing is I think you got to have at least a few seasons because we're talking a bingeable show. So off the bat, we got to say at least 6 or 7 seasons. Let's say 7 seasons. Because you can't binge a show that's 12 episodes. You're done in one day.
How many episodes per season?
Let's do 22.
22 episodes.
So Netflix, they do like 12 episodes. So let's meet in the middle. Let's say, we'll say 13.
How long should the episodes be?
Depends on what kind of show. So we're making intense, which should be like 48 minutes.
So the hour.
How about 13 48-minute episodes?
13
48-minute episodes at 7 seasons, because that'll keep you busy for a while.
Yeah,
So that means my point was
quarantine binge.
Yeah, this is quarantine binge. This isn't like one day.
Yeah, this ain't a weekend binge.
But I was gonna say, so we have 7 seasons. At least 3 or 4 of those seasons, you need a good will they, won't they romance. You gotta have the flirting. You gotta have the heartbreak. You gotta have the are they gonna get together? Are they not? Are they gonna have the whole Jim and Pam thing? The whole all that sort of stuff. You gotta have the will they, won't they.
Yeah.
Okay, what else you got?
All right. And I think I feel like this one might be a toss up. I would have to say the next one would have to be what I just had in my head. So you're talking will they, won't they? I think it'd have to be that's what it was. Not necessarily scary, but something. But you know how in Paranormal Activity kind of did a cruddy job on this, but they're like based on a true event. So it'd have to be something relevant. I think is the best way that I'd put it. Relevancy to today's topics and stuff. Maybe not on the coronavirus. But just something that, the audience can really relate to. Okay. Whether it is something scary or if it's something funny or really, if it goes into romance, it has to be relevant. It can't be, this is what everybody thinks it is, but nobody can really relate to it. No, I want to, once again, you got to get me hooked. You got to get me to feel it.
Okay. So. All right, I'm going next. We'll just do a couple more. I think you got to have a cute animal, because I think that's a big appeal of Tiger King. Because we show up because tigers are awesome. Everybody loves tigers, but then we stay for the trashy mayhem. Well, Matthew doesn't, but you got to have some kind of animal. You got to have something like a dog. Obviously, dogs are big. Yeah. Big cats are now popular because of this show.
That's
cats.
Really good, yeah.
So I'm gonna say you gotta have an animal.
That's a really good one.
All right. Anything else you think needs to go? We're cracking it. We're cracking the formula of what makes a good binge watchable show.
Yeah, I think these are really, really good ideas, but they won't work unless you have some really good actors. Some people who take their job seriously. That put their boots on, get into character, and really just own it.
Nice. So we're talking.
There are those.
Who are we talking? We're talking like Denzel. Yeah, we're talking Reese Witherspoon. We're talking
Brad Pitt.
We're talking Steve Carell. We're talking. So you're spending money on this show. We're not getting the straight out of acting school kids. We're getting some top tier talent.
Yeah, no, this is for your guys' enjoyment. We would not spare anything.
Dang.
Right? We want a perfect binge watching series. We're going to get the best of the best of the best of the best.
Okay, I can respect it. Yeah. My next thing that we're going to say is you got to have, this is what makes it binge watchable. Because the whole point of binge watching is like, I just got to keep going. I got to see the next episode. So we got to have some good cliffhangers. Because if each episode is like, whatever, like even like, let's just say like The Office, like they still had a reason for you to keep watching it. Excuse me, because of like the whole will they, won't they Pam thing. And there's still, so there has to be aspects of like, why do I need to keep watching the show now at 2 a.m. instead of going to bed like a responsible person? Yeah. So I'm saying cliffhanger. So anything else, do one more and then we'll I'll pitch you our show.
I have like 2, man.
2? Just give them to me. Rapid fire. Let's go.
All right. So this first one, it'd have to have a team. So teams, right? Like Team Edward, Team Jacob.
That kind of team.
Yeah,
so like
it has to be maybe not even a love triangle, but something along the lines of like
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
I'm this person's
Yeah.
team, or I'm on that person's team because I think they're better. I think they're cooler. I think their pitch is awesome. You know, whether it's selling, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Like you want this person to succeed, but we want this person to, so some division.
I like it.
You know, not to divide our audience and make them hate each other, but it brings home the feels, connection. And then I think what another thing would probably is something along the lines of maybe every DVD sold, we package in like a weighted blanket or something, because you need a good environment to binge watch this.
So you're giving free stuff away with this.
Yeah, because what better way than free stuff to get someone to watch it? So.
Okay.
But yeah, you need a comfortable environment. Maybe not a weighted blanket, but maybe your favorite candy bar. Pick favorite candy bar comes with the show or something.
Yeah. So
I think that would make me buy a lot more shows if it's like, hey, if you buy this, you get your favorite king size candy bar or something with it.
Nice.
Like a coupon or something. Oh, dude,
Dang.
that is $1 million idea.
that's a pretty good. So you're good. You're a good marketer.
Maybe not $1 million. You got to buy a lot of candy, but it'll sell.
Okay. All right. So, according to us, let me pitch you our guaranteed most binge watch show in America. Coming to Netflix this fall, we have The Roommates. 7 seasons, 13 episodes, 48 minutes per episode of non-stop roller coaster drama / comedy / love / thriller. Here's the premise of The Roommates. We open in a very relatable community. Local restaurants, parks, stuff like that. And then we pan over, and there is a housing unit. And in the housing unit lives these are the characters, one Idris Elba and one Chris Evans. They're best friends. They've known each other since elementary school. They're the roommates. They're the people who hang out. But then one day, their other roommate, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, so there's 3 roommates at the beginning, but he has to go off and pursue his dreams. He's leaving. So there's an empty room at the place. So they have to find a new roommate. So they start putting stuff out, and lo and behold, somebody answers the call for the roommate, and it's Amy Adams. So Amy Adams says, hey guys, I want to be your roommate, except there's one thing. I have a pet baby hippo named Chuckles. Yes. So the guys talk and like, okay, we'll let you bring Chuckles in. And so we have this house full of Idris Elba and Chris Evans and Amy Adams and their pet hippo Chuckles. But then Chris Evans and Amy Adams they're having dessert one night. Idris has to work late. Chuckles is fast asleep. They're having dessert. They get deep. They start talking. They look into each other's eyes, and then they realize, there might be something more to this relationship. Oh. This might be more than just a roommate / friend thing. We might actually be falling for each other. But here is the twist. Idris has a condition. A condition where if 2 of his friends fall in love with each other, it sends him into a psychopathic rage. And Chris Evans knows this. So he says, Amy Adams, we cannot be in love because it'll send Idris violent. He'll turn on us. He'll try to kill us. So what do? Do we fall in love? Do we give in to our desires, or do we value our lives? Do we value the sanity of our friend Idris? And that plays out for a few seasons. But then, at the end of one of the seasons, here's the big cliffhanger, they decide we can't contain it anymore. We have to at least kiss. We have to at least have some kind of physical interaction to see if this is really just in our heads or is this real. And we can do it now because Idris, he's working late again. He's not going to be home till 10, so it's all good. So they have some time. It's 9:30. They have half an hour. So they lean in for the kiss, and then as soon as they lean in, the door jiggles, and Idris walks in. Hey, guys, I got off a little early. It was slow. And he catches them. Cut to black. Then the next 2 seasons, everything changes. He's hunting them down. He's threatening them. He's burning their clothes. Chuckles, his life is even on the line. And if you make it through all 7 seasons of The Roommates, you will get a promo code for a free Chuckles the Hippo plush that is perfect for watching with you in bed. And there's plenty of memes that can be made of that. Boom! There is our TV show, The Roommates. Matthew, I pitched that show to you. Would you watch 7 seasons of The Roommates?
Probably not.
I tried.
It was very intriguing. There were definitely
There's
parts
some
where I'm
twists.
like, no, don't do it. I think I might.
Yeah, you check it out.
Get the plush toy, you know.
You get a free plush.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
get to
you-
check on the memes. So
like it.
there you go. That's our binge watching show. Comment below. Let us know if you'd actually watch that. Probably not, but it's fun stuff to talk about. It's crazy times. We got to have some fun.
Want to know how it could have been better?
Oh, okay. Give me
Do
some
one
notes.
of those
Give
like
me notes.
Ferris Bueller 1980s kind of thing where it's like, you might be wondering, or well, what is it? It's like
breaking the fourth wall.
yeah, but he starts off with back in the summer of 1996. That's me. You might be wondering how I got in that situation.
Ooh.
Well, let me tell you,
Okay.
it all started about 6 months ago.
Nice.
So-
That's a good
so,
hook.
yeah.
And then we
It
double
just
back
starts
to that
really
at
good.
the end of season 7 and be like, okay, guys, now, so the season ended, last episode of season 7 starts where episode 1 started.
With
So it
Back-
all
it's-
goes into a circle. Nice. Okay. All right. I'm into
now
it.
I'd watch
That
it.
gave me chills.
Now I don't.
Oh, that's funny. I see him. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us. So that was just, based on some stuff that came out last week. We're all trying to navigate this. And like I said, just having a little bit of fun with it. This week, we have some new content coming out, Anthony, around town-wise. Have some blogs coming out. Actually, on top of this live stream, we have a new podcast coming out this Thursday. Instead of just talking about it, I'm just going to show you the trailer for it, and we'll discuss further once this trailer is done. So check out the podcast for the check out the trailer for this week's podcast, and we will be right back. I have the super cool Laramie Lake joining me, and he's actually the singer / guitar player, maybe some other stuff, of a brand new local band called Skydrifter.
I've played in different local bands, and some of them got quite a bit of momentum, and we traveled and played music a lot, so this is actually my 4th or 5th endeavor into playing music. Playing music is actually kind of, I mean, it's my hobby, and then it's also my dream, but
Nice.
it's kind of like my medication too, you know what I mean?
I always just am thankful when people like you and other musicians and artists and creators in our community just keep doing their thing. It's time for you and Laramie to hear this week's Out There question. And I guess technically this isn't really a question, it's more of like a challenge or activity, if you will, because we're going to do a little something I like to call Song on the Spot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give this bowl to Laramie, and he is going to pick 3 of the topics out of this bowl, out of the 9. And then what he's going to have to do is he's going to have to come up with a little song using each one of the 3 statements that he picks in the song. So we're not only going to see his creative side, we're going to see his just ability to create art on the spot. Hence why we're calling this Song on the Spot.
Oh boy. Eating a snow cone, eating a snow cone. That's your bump.
That was beautiful, dude. All right, so yeah, that is a little taste of the podcast coming out this Thursday. You can find that podcast anywhere you currently get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, iTunes, all that sort of good stuff. Laramie and I, we talk about their new band. We talk about some cool stuff they have coming up already in the month of April to kind of get some of their music out there. I actually got to listen to their single that'll be out a little bit, and it's really good. It's fire, and it's deep. Like,
Nice.
Laramie told me some stuff that, like, that kind of the themes and stuff of the song and the something else that they're going to be putting out. And I was like, dang, and I was thinking about it for probably like the rest of that day. So good conversation I had with him. Always love talking to local musicians. So check that out on Thursday. All right, guys, as we get ready to wrap up, I just want to say thank you again to all of our amazing sponsors who help make this content possible, but also remind you guys that if you, there we go. That if you are a small business owner and you're just looking to kind of get your business out there in a unique and diverse way, I would just highly recommend you just giving us a call or email here at Anthony Around Town, because we're always looking to partner with fantastic local businesses such as NV Off-Road, Remax Gold, Jesse James Team, Heartwood Wellness, Ayurvedic Counseling, and some others that we'll announce pretty soon. But we'd love to have you as a part of the team. Obviously, with times to where they are, we just want to make sure the community knows about you. So if you are interested, just shoot me an email, anthonyaroundtown@gmail.com. That's anthonyaroundtown@gmail.com. All right. Well, as we get ready to wrap up, just let me let you know about a couple of things on top of the fact that if you'd like to partner with us, you're more than welcome to do that. The first thing is social media. We're all over social media, obviously here on Facebook, but Instagram, YouTube, Anchor.fm. That's where that's who hosts all of our podcasts. But then anywhere else you get your podcasts. So just basically just search Anthony Around Town and you are good to go. Again, we have the new podcast coming out this week, so check that out. But the main site, anthonyaroundtown.com, is where all of our content is housed. So live streams are going to be over there, video, links to the videos, obviously the blogs, links to the podcast. So if all these different places just sound too much, then just go to anthonyaroundtown.com and you should be good to go. Also, while you're there, I would highly recommend that you just join our weekly email list, because what I do is every single Monday, I just take everybody who's on that list, and we have people from here in Nevada to people in California, and this morning I signed somebody up who was from Alabama, so don't know how they found us, but that's cool. So everybody who's on that list, what happens is every single Monday I just put all the links to all the content we produced the week prior and compile them in one email, and I send that email out to everybody who's on our email list. So all they have to do is open the email, click on a link, and they're good to go. It's right there for them, neat and tidy. And all I need for you to do to join that email list is just give me your first and last name and your email address. So you can go to anthonyaroundtown.com, just hit stay connected, and you can do it there. Or if you just chill for a sec, a little pop-up's going to come up asking if you want to join, and you can do it that way as well. Matthew, let's bring you on again. Patreon, you're the Patreon manager, so what do we need to know Patreon-wise?
So far it's still up and running, so definitely go check it out when you can. Right now we have our faithful subscriber. He's actually a really good friend of ours, is Austin Whitney.
Yeah, so we're going to give you a shout-out.
Yeah, he's amazing. He makes really good food. Has really fun parties.
Sure.
So he's a really good buddy of ours. Definitely want to thank him for really just supporting the mission and keeping us going forward. So,
totally. So if you'd like to be a part of that, just go, I think it's just patreon.com/AnthonyAroundTown, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Just like that.
All right, and then also got to give some love to thatgrammargal.com. Nay, who runs thatgrammargal.com, she is the editor of all of our written content, and so all of our blogs, the only reason why they don't look like straight trash, to be honest, not because of our guests, it's because of me. So Nay helps, typos galore. She helps keep me in check. I mean, you guys hear me rambling. This is what it looks like on paper, but she cleans it up. She makes it look good. So if you're a writer or you're a content creator yourself, you're looking for somebody else to have your back, just remember thatgrammargal.com. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for this rendition of the Anthony Around Town show. Anything else that you had before we bounce?
Oh, not that actually. One thing.
Oh.
I was thinking about it. You know how we did a binge, like we create our own binge TV show?
Yes.
We should do an episode part 2 of songs, how to do your own songs. I was thinking about it when we were watching that podcast.
Okay, so that's something we talk about next week because we'll talk about that podcast. So we'll do that next week. So you go listen to Laramie Lake's podcast this Thursday, and he'll show you how he came up with the song on the spot in that podcast, and then we'll discuss it, and then we'll maybe do that next Thursday, or next Monday. Sounds good. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this rendition of the Anthony Around Town Show. Thank you so much for joining us yet again. Until next time, I'm Anthony Crosby.
Catch you later.
See you around, Elko.